Welcome dear students, we are on the CEC Gurukul lectures. In today's lecture we are dealing with the Newton's ring experiment, where we are discussing about how we get the Newton's ring pattern by using the various sources. Various sources means we are using the monochromatic source and the white light. So what is the formula behind it? To get the wavelength of the light of the Newton's ring or the source which we are using. Moreover, we can find out the refractive index of the light, refractive index of the material used between the plano-convex lens and the glass plate. So up to now we discuss about the experiment, apparatus used and aim and the principle of the Newton's ring. Now we discuss about the theory and equation or the formula used to calculate the wavelength of light source by using the Newton's ring experiment. Now here we consider the ray of light which incident on the air film at the point where the thickness of the air film is T in between the plano-convex lens and the glass plate. The optical part difference between the two reflected rays will be 2T, so that we can get the interference pattern, and they must be in a phase. Taking the account the phase change of 180 degree for the reflection at the rear to the denser surface, the condition of constructive and destructive interference are 2T is equal to m plus 1 by 2 lambda. This is for the constructive interference where we get the bright fringes, and destructive interference where we are having the n lambda. So this is the Newton's ring equation I will calculate. On the left hand side we are seeing the schematic diagram of the concentric rings or concentric interference which we are getting by using the Newton's ring experiment. So here on the right hand side we see the arrangement of plano-convex lens mounted on the glass plate. Here we see that the T is the thickness of air film between the plano-convex lens and the glass plate. R is the radius of the ring which depends upon the T. As the T changes, the radius will change. D, diameter of the ring. R, capital D is the diameter of the ring. Capital R is the radius of curvature of the lens. Lens, plano-convex lens which we are using. At its form is circular. So R is the radius of curvature of the plano-convex lens. We see that R minus T, we take the, as this T is the thickness between the air film and the air film which is in between the plano-convex lens and the glass plate. Now we consider a system of the plano-convex lens of the radius of curvature having R placed on a flat glass plate which is exposed to the monochromatic light of wavelength lambda normally. As the light from the glass plate mounted at 45 degree angle fall upon this arrangement which is having a radius of in which the plano-convex lens having the radius of curvature R. Now incident light is partially reflected from the upper surface of the air film between the lens and the glass plate, and light is partially refracted into the film which again reflects from the lower surface of the phase change of 180 degree due to the higher index of the glass plate. It means one ray we are getting at the lower part of the plano-convex lens and other ray we are getting reflected from the upper part of the glass plate. In between that we are having the air film, or we can say one part is from the rays reflected from the upper part of air film and the other ray will be reflected from the lower part of the air film. Therefore, the two parts of the light interfere constructively and destructively to form the dark and bright fringes respectively. If it is constructively, then we can say we can get the bright fringes. If it is destructive formation, then we can get the dark fringes. Now this is the arrangement as we discussed, that the glass plate mounted within the contact of glass plate contact with the plano-convex lens at point C. The thickness is 0 as gradually increases as we move outwards. Point P1 we see here On the right hand side, that the ray reflected from the lower part of the plano-convex lens, and the point P2 where the ray 2 is reflected from the upper part of the glass plate, and these two rays form the interference pattern to form the constructive and destructive interference. Now consider a ring of the radius r. The radius of the ring we define by the small r. Due to the thickness of T air films, as we see in the diagram right hand side, T is the thickness between the air film. T is the thickness of air film between the plano-convex lens and the glass plate, and this thickness gradually changes, and on the basis of that r will change. The radius of the Newton's ring will change. Now you see, now using the property of the circle, we can write it as we are here the diagram where we are just explaining the Newton's ring, that the radius of circle means we are taking this plano-convex lens as a circle. So this circle which is representing in the blue line, which is representing the circle of the plano-convex lens, and by using the property of circle we can write it as dB, the left hand side, dB into BE is equal to AB into BC. We divide the circle into 4 parts, and that formula is dB into BE is equal to AB into BC. From here we can see that r is the radius of the circle that is the Newton's circular rings, and dB and BE which is equal to r, that r is the radius of a circle. So AB is equivalent to the thickness. You see on the right hand side, that is AB, which is representing the thickness of a circle, thickness of a air film. AB, we take it as this gradually changes, but we take A and B equivalent to the thickness T, which is the air film, thickness of air film. Now we have to focus on the blue circle, that sphere. We can imagine that we cut this plano-convex lens, and so the radius we are assumed is r, capital R, and the diameter will be 2r. Radius of the circle is r and the diameter of this is 2r. So distance AF will be 2r minus t. Then so now we are putting this value in the circle equation. Then we know that r square, as both are equal, so both are equal to r. The left hand side both notation equal to r. So r square is equal to t is the thickness into 2r minus t, which is equal to 2rt minus t square. It means we are taking the t, see on the right hand side, t is the thickness, and the second we just subtract the thickness. We are taking the lower part of the plano-convex lens, so 2r minus t. As we already know that the radius is much larger than the thickness of t square, as we know, so we can neglect the t square. The thickness of the air film is very less as compared to the radius of the plano-convex lens. So the only term which we will take is r square is equal to 2rt. We can neglect the t square. So finally we can write it as r square is equal to 2rt after ignoring the t square, as the value of t square is very less than the value of the r, capital R, which is the radius of plano-convex lens. Then r square is equal to 2rt. So T is equal to, thickness of air film is equal to r square divided by 2r. Substituting this value in the maxima and minima condition for the Newton's ring. That formula we have taken from the thickness transmission of light through the glass slab or the thick any thick surface. So for the maxima or the bright fringes, we put this value t here. So we get 2 mu t is equal to 2n minus 1 lambda by 2, where the value of n is equal to 1, 2, 3. We can write it as 2 mu dot r square divided by 2r. Here we are putting the value of t. This is the formula to calculate the thickness of glass slate, which is 2 mu t is equal to 2n minus 1 lambda by 2 for the brighter fringes. So in this equation we put the value of t. So the value of t is r square by 2r. So next equation will be 2 mu into r square by 2r is equal to 2n minus 1 lambda by 2 and maybe 1, 2, 3. Now r square is equal to 2n minus 1 lambda r divided by 2 mu. What is mu here? Mu is the refractive index. Here we are using the air film, so refractive index mu is equal to 1. The refractive index of air film is 1. This denotes the radius of the nth bright ring. So we can write it as Rn. We can write it as Rn is equal to 2n minus 1 lambda r divided by 2 mu. Now we write it the diameter for the nth ring. Then we will solve the above equation. For the diameter, it must be twice of the radius. So dn square is equal to 2 into 2n minus 1 lambda r divided by 2 mu. For n plus mth ring fringes, we can have the diameter dn plus m. Means if I am taking first ring, then d1, d3 n plus m is equal to 2 into 2n plus 2m minus 1 lambda r divided by 2 mu. Now similarly we can derive the dark fringes also. This is for the brighter. Now for the dark, for minima or the dark fringes, 2 mu t is equal to n lambda. So 2 mu, now we put the value of t here, that was for the bright fringes. Now for the darker fringes, this formula again we get from the to get the thickness of the glass slab by using the transmitted light. So 2 mu t is equal to n lambda. We put the value of t here, which will be 2 mu into r square by 2 r is equal to n lambda. Now we can write it as r square is equal to n lambda r divided by mu. For nth fringes, the radius of the ring will be Rn square is equal to n lambda r divided mu. For the nth diameter, dn square is equal to 4n lambda r by mu. Mu is the thickness of mu is the refractive index of the air film or any medium which is in between the plano-convex lens and the glass plate, which generate the Newton's ring. Combining this result with the condition for the n plus pth and the nth dark dark fringes, then the diameter of the two rings are dn plus p is equal to, here we can write m or n plus p is equal to m or n plus p is equal to dn square. Now we see we subtracting the two equation and we arrange it. It will be dn plus p whole square minus dn square is equal to 4r. Now n plus p minus n into lambda. Lambda we can write it as dn plus p square minus dn square divided by 4r n plus p minus p. What is the value of p here? The value of p is the difference between the rings. Now where lambda is the diameter, and from this equation we can calculate the wavelength of the light. Now if the liquid or the refractive index mu is introduced between the lens and the plate, the part difference will be given by 2 mu t, and the diameter of any ring will be less with the liquid in place than without it. So the equation of the wavelength will be lambda is equal to dn plus p whole square minus dn square mu divided by 4r n plus p minus n. It means the mu value will be changed depend upon the medium which we are using. So if we use the air film in between the, if we are using air film in between the plano-convex lens and the glass plate, the value of mu is equal to 1. So lambda, this is a formula to get the wavelength of the light. Lambda, wavelength of the light, is equal to diameter of n plus pth ring minus dn square diameter of nth ring divided by 4pr, where p is the difference between the ring. Suppose we are taking d5, dn plus p is equal to 5, diameter of fifth ring, so d5 square minus, and n value is 3, then the fifth ring and third ring we are considering. So difference between these two rings are 5 minus 3, 2. So the value of p will be 2. It means the two different rings will generate the p. The p value can be, we can consider any p value. Mean the difference between the two rings may be 1, 2, 3, 4, but generally we take the p value of p is equal to 2. So fifth ring and the third ring, similarly fourth ring and the second ring, seventh ring and the fifth ring, sixth ring and the fourth ring. So we take the difference between these two. The value of p will be fixed. The value of r is also fixed, as is the radius of curvature of the plano-convex lens. In this manner we can find out the wavelength of light, monochromatic light. Determination of the refractive index of the liquid. As we know that if the liquid in between the plano-convex lens and the glass plate, so we determine the refractive index of the liquid. The Newton's ring experiment is the first performed in the air medium. The difference of square of the diameter, which is n plus p divided by mth ring, and another dark ring found we discussed above. Now here we see that for the air film, the value of the value lambda, we can calculate the lambda, or the formula can be written as dn plus p square minus dn square for the air is equal to 4p lambda by r. That we already calculated. Now we put the liquid. So after the few drops of the liquid of the refractive index is placed on the glass plate, the plano-convex lenses is then placed on the glass plate. As a result, the film of liquid is formed between the lens and the plate. Now again we note the reading. That's formula. The difference of the square of the diameter of n plus pth and nth ring is again calculated in the same manner now for the liquid medium. Previously we calculate for the air medium. Now the similar formula will be used for the liquid medium. So here we see dn plus p square minus dn square for the liquid is equal to 4p lambda r divided by mu. Now by using these two equations, we can find out the value of mu, refractive index of the liquid between the plano-convex lens and the glass plate. So dividing both these equations, we will get mu is equal to dn plus p square minus dn square in the air, dn plus b square minus dn square in the liquid. So air liquid difference, we can get the value of mu. Now Newton's ring in the transmitted light. Newton's rings are also studied for the transmitted light. The interference conditions for the reflection in transmitted light are complementary. So this is another topic for the Newton's ring we get from the transmitted light. The diameter of the bright rings calculated for the transmitted light using the equation above correspond precisely to the diameters of the dark ring in the reflection. In particular, the center of Newton's ring is bright in transmitted light and dark in the reflected light. If anyone asks you a question that why the center fringe is bright, then we can say we get the Newton's ring because of the transmitted light. If we get the center ring dark, then it is because of the reflected light. So from here we came to know that Newton's rings, in the Newton's ring we get the central bright or we can get the central dark. It means if we get the bright fringe, it is because of the transmitted light. If we get the dark fringe, then it is because of the reflected light. Now, what is the experimental setup of the Newton's ring? Here we see on the screen that this is the apparatus we use in the laboratory. This is the right hand side. We are seeing that this is arrangement which is a power supply to the lamp, and the black part, the black circular arrangement is the lamp which is connected with the power supply. This is the sodium lamp or the mercury lamp. And on the left hand side we see that this arrangement of the Newton's ring, where we are having a arrangement of plano-convex lens and the glass plate, and this is a telescope which can move from here and there, so that we can get the exact position of the Newton's ring. Now you see that after moving this telescope, we can get this type of arrangement. This is the arrangement, this type of output we get from this experiment. Newton's rings are observed under the microscope, and you are seeing here that there is a crosswire which is on this microscope, and we put this crosswire by counting the rings, and by putting this crosswire at a particular ring, we can calculate the diameter of that particular ring, which gradually increases on the left hand side and on the right hand side. Now you see, these are the two arrangements. Left hand side we are seeing the output from the output from the mercury lamp, and right hand side this output from the sodium lamp. As a yellow sodium source produces a yellow light, so rings are yellow. On left hand side we are having the colored ring, but the center point is white. So now here we see that concentric circles are formed, bright and dark fringes we can get, and these circulars because of the air film between the plano-convex lens and the glass plate. Now see how we calculate the reading. Now see, this is the step first where we will find the least count. See at the upper we see count of the microscope. In this diagram on the right hand side we are having the two scales. One is vernier scale and another is the main scale. The length, the main scale having the larger length, as we see from it is mentioned from 0 to 9, and the smaller scale is the vernier scale. Larger scale is the main scale and the smaller scale is the vernier scale. From here we can calculate the output or the diameter of the rings. Now see that this scale contains, the vernier scale contains the 50 divisions, and here the difference between the 2 points are 20 in the main scale. So first we take the main scale reading, after that we take the vernier scale reading. On the basis of that we can find out the least count. Least count of the microscope, we can calculate that least count is equal to smallest main scale reading divided by the total number of the vernier scale reading. Here in this arrangement, least count 1 by 20 centimeter is the smallest main scale reading, because we are having a 20 division between the 2 points, and total number of the vernier scale division, see on the upper scale 50, so we divided the 50, so least count will be 0.001 centimeter from the previous slide we are having. Now we see how we calculate, how we take the reading. Now see that this is the main scale reading. We just check that the vernier scale at which point the vernier scale coincide with the main scale, that we will calculate. Now this is the vernier scale reading, that is main scale reading. Main scale reading we will calculate the first point of vernier scale reading coincide with the main scale reading. Now the second reading we take from the vernier scale. We see that the what exact line of the vernier scale just match with the main scale reading, that we will take that reading. So the final reading of the ring, we will get the final reading is equal to main scale reading plus vernier scale reading into least count. In this manner we can calculate the reading, and this may gradually increases, means we put at the first ring, then we put it at second ring, then we put the crosswire of the telescope on the another ring, and this manner we calculate the value from the left hand side, and similarly we can calculate on the right hand side. You see in this diagram that Dn is the first ring, Dnm plus n plus m as the ring number will change. So here first ring diameter Dn representing by Dn, fifth ring diameter, that is Dn plus n. So we can calculate the Dn diameter of a particular ring by using this telescope. Now here you see on the left hand side there is a crosswire. We move this crosswire at a particular ring, and then we can calculate the reading from main scale and vernier scale. Now place the crosswire on the we place the crosswire on the 20th dark ring on the left hand side, then we move towards the 18, 14 to second up to second ring, we will take it. Similarly we can do it for the right hand side. We keep moving towards the side of center of rings and note down the reading of the second, 4th, 20th ring, and so on. In this manner we can find out the diameter of a particular ring. This is the table which we make for this reading, these readings. So we take the number of rings, first we write the serial number, then number of rings. After that we take the main scale reading, vernier scale reading, and of the left hand side. The similarly for the similar rings on the right hand side, main scale reading and vernier scale reading. After that we can find out the diameter of these rings, and this formula we will put into the put to calculate the wavelength of sodium light. What are the precautions when we are doing this experiment? The glass plate, optical flat glass plate, plano-convex lens should be thoroughly wiped. Source should be broad and bright because we are dealing with the interference due to amplitude. The main point is the avoid vibrations, otherwise we cannot get the exact reading of the ring. Crosswire of the microscope should be properly mounted on a particular ring so that we can calculate the diameter of a ring. Throughout the experiment, the horizontal slow motion of the microscope is required to be turned only a single direction to avoid the backlash errors. And what are the applications of Newton's ring experiment? In the Newton's ring experiment, phenomena which is you deal with the daily, and there are the following applications. For testing the uniformity of the polished surface by studying the interference pattern the surface makes when placed in contact with the perfectly flat glass surface. Another application is to control the thickness of the paint that is used on the poster. Too much paint would exceed total weight requirements, and too little would result in the faint imprint. So these are the applications of Newton's ring. And there are many questions of the Viva voice that we will deal in the next lecture. Thank you very much.